A vertical video at the start of the film shows manufacturing workers getting ready to demonstrate against the government. A safety violation that hurt their coworker Karen is the cause of this unrest. Michael, a worker, is the primary instigator of the insurrection. The dispute escalates into an open confrontation when the factory management rejects the workers' complaints. The police begin assaulting the workers once the factory director summons them. In a fit of rage, Michael seizes a policeman and starts strangling him. The incident is captured on camera and is used as crucial evidence in court. Sometime later, Michael visits Karen, who is unable to walk due to her injury and is undergoing treatment. He promises to move in with her after serving his sentence. Meanwhile, Karen is scheduled for another operation. Simultaneously, Selma, Michael's daughter, is made fun of by her classmates as they keep playing the video of her father assaulting the policeman. Her mother, Michael's ex-wife Alice, is summoned to the director's office at the equestrian school Selma attends when she loses it over the mockery and snaps at one of her classmates. While traveling, Alice tunes into the radio, which is dominated by news about the deteriorating climate and upcoming natural disasters. Determined to keep Selma from being expelled, her brother Bryce meets her at the school. This time, the issue concludes with a severe moral reprimand, but the director still seems to be searching for an excuse to fire the problematic student. Later, Alice reminds her daughter that the boarding school is a valuable opportunity for a girl who loves nature and horses, despite the high cost. Unexpectedly, Selma asks for permission to visit her father, even though it is not his visitation day. Alice agrees, and Selma visits Michael, showing him her favorite blogs, which he finds unimpressive. She then suggests a way to relieve the itch caused by the ankle monitor Michael is required to wear. Selma abruptly requests that her father refrain from moving to Belgium with Karen. Since it's only a 2-hour journey, Michael says she can come see him whenever she wants. She switches on the television, which is showing another news about a disaster that is due to happen in Europe. Michael brushes it off, claiming that life is difficult enough without worrying about impending catastrophes. Alice takes Selma to her boarding school while Michael leaves for work. On the way, heavy rain causes Alice to have a minor accident. After sorting things out, she reaches the nursing home where she works as a caregiver, now without her car, which needs repairs. That evening, Alice notices rainwater seeping into the house through an improperly closed door. She places a towel over the puddle, unaware of the suspicious stains forming on it. The next day, Selma goes to her forest training session. Meanwhile, Alice and her colleague read news about acid rain causing massive damage. Feeling anxious, Alice decides to bring Selma home. In contrast, Michael and his colleagues examine the warehouse roof, where dents have developed as a result of the rain. In order to get a ride to the boarding school, Alice phones him. Michael says that he finds it difficult to take time off, while her brother, who works for himself, has more freedom. Back in the forest, Selma's horse grows restless. The trainer asks her to wait while he guides the others back and returns for her. Michael eventually agrees to drive Alice to the school, where other parents are also picking up their children. While Alice heads inside, Michael hears a radio warning about acid rain approaching the region, advising people to stay indoors and avoid travel. After learning that Selma's class has not yet returned from their trip, Alice arrives and directs Michael in the proper way. As the clouds become darker, the estranged couple heads toward the woodland. Michael takes the detour into the opposite lane and cuts through a field because the road ahead is closed and the storm is getting closer. Meanwhile, Selma sees the first raindrops land on the ground, sizzling as they descend. She is terrified when she witnesses terrified, untrained horses galloping through the woods. The girl escapes the impending storm by running down the trail. After arriving at the woodland, Michael can make out the stables in the distance. Alice searches by driving around the region. Selma sprints toward Michael with all of her strength when he cries out to her. They get back together in time to seek cover under a roof from the deadly rain. Michael informs Alice over the phone that he has located their daughter. The stables are reached via Alice. The family departs after Michael and Selma, clad in a horse blanket, reach the car. They run into a traffic bottleneck with other evacuees while traveling. Road crews scurry between the cars. When a worker cries for assistance and opens the door of their van, Michael pushes them out and tells Alice to drive wherever they can. The family eventually stops at an empty supermarket where they find some clothing and supplies. Alice calls her brother, who promises to come for them but scolds her for turning to Michael for help. He advises them to head east, where acid rain hasn't yet reached, and says he'll send them an address where they can wait for him. In the meantime, Michael and Selma use some cloth they discovered to build a temporary cover for the automobile. Karen's phone is inaccessible despite Michael's continuous attempts to reach her. Despite Michael's reservations that the automobile will reach Bryce's contact, they go. The car breaks down late at night on an acid-corroded highway, fulfilling his nightmares. Having to get out of the car, Michael drags his daughter out and takes the family to a nearby restaurant. With the exception of a cat that the staff left behind, the venue is deserted, even though the tables are arranged for a party. When Michael eventually gets to Karen, she implores him to avoid taking unwarranted chances. The call ends abruptly. After checking the kitchen, Michael pours some water for the cat and tests it for safety, which infuriates Selma. They discover champagne and candies in the refrigerator, which they choose to drink since they are dehydrated. Michael suggests they eat everything they can find in the cafe storage first, but she puts off the notion until morning. She comes up with the idea to build temporary protective shoes out of baking molds. Alice promises everyone that Bryce will come get them as they talk about their impending encounter, which sparks yet another conflict between the estranged couple. Later, everyone lies down to rest. Selma searches for the cat and finds its lifeless body. Shocked, she crawls into bed with her mother, trying to sleep while Michael stays awake, pondering their next steps. Next morning, they set out on foot toward the town Bryce mentioned. However, the only way to reach it is by crossing a river via a bridge guarded by the military. Soldiers allow pedestrians to cross in limited numbers to prevent the rain-damaged cables from collapsing under too much weight. However, the crowd surges forward. Overwhelming the fragile barriers, the troops move Alice forward in confusion, while Michael and Selma fall behind. Alice notices that the bridge is beginning to collapse. She tries to go back, but she is pushed forward by the thronging crowd. She and several unfortunate people fall into the river when the bridge railings give way. Desperate to aid her mother, who is struggling to remain afloat while burning in the corrosive river waters, Selma rushes to the riverside. Alice battles until her strength finally leaves her. As Alice's mutilated body is carried downstream by the perilous river, Michael just about makes it in time to seize his distraught daughter and pull her away. Following this catastrophe, Michael and Selma reach a camp for refugees. When Michael phones Karen to give her an update, he finds out that she is being sent to a different hospital. After failing to get through to Bryce, Michael makes the decision to go to AMP. Transportation is provided by the military in one of their trucks. Since Bryce isn't answering, Michael tells Selma that they will be traveling to AMP. Although Selma is upset about this information and is still in shock at her mother's passing, she consents to sit in the truck bed with the other survivors. Roads are soon blocked, and the convoy stops in a forest. Since the route ahead is only accessible on foot, the troops give the order for everyone to disembark. Soon, ominous clouds form in the sky. As the party tries to flee the storm, thunder causes them to move more quickly and panic. Selma is dragged along by Michael, but eventually they are too tired and fall behind the other migrants. The rain begins to fall, just as Michael spots some ruins in the forest. He pushes Selma into a basement, following close behind. Exploring the dark tunnels, they find an exit. It turns out to be part of an old sewer system. When the rain finally stops, they continue their journey. They travel over a meadow and arrive at a town. The place appears to be empty, and when Michael knocks on doors, nobody answers. Selma sobs for her mother as they stroll through the streets. Michael, unable to comfort her, keeps looking for cover until he passes out unexpectedly. Selma calls for assistance after spotting movement in a nearby home. In the house, Michael regains consciousness. Deborah, a mother tending to her ailing kid. Deborah dislikes having visitors, especially after seeing Michael's ankle monitor. She explains that she and her son don't have much money, so she offers to give him a bath but won't share food or water. Michael, more interested in charging his phone, reassures Deborah that they won't stay long. Meanwhile, Selma discovers a dialysis machine in a room damaged by acid rain. The machine emits a warning signal, drawing Deborah's attention. Irritated, she asks them to leave. Michael offers to assist in moving the dialysis machine from the second floor to the basement, where it will be protected from acid rain, before leaving. Deborah is appreciative of his help and lets them stay the night in the garage, but she still won't share food or drink. With an axe in hand, Michael enters a nearby home to steal supplies, assuming no one is home. After describing the atrocities they have witnessed, Selma tells Deborah that they should stay longer because it is too risky to go outside. Michael hears Karen's voicemail in the interim, in which she provides her new address and wishes him well. The plumbing is corroded by acid rain in the middle of the night, and the poisonous liquid leaks through the crevices. The air is filled with toxic vapors released by the caustic water. No one can hear Michael's banging, and he is unable to contact Deborah due to the barred door. Michael pulls Selma to the garage, where they discover a car, as the house starts to fall apart. Michael starts the car and leaves despite Selma's pleadings that she shouldn't leave Deborah and her son. The turmoil is exacerbated by the near-zero visibility in the thick, poisonous fog. Due to a malfunctioning navigation system, the vehicle is driven into a field and becomes trapped. Selma panics, and Michael, overcome by a nervous breakdown, yells at her. Distraught, Selma runs off while Michael exits the car to assess their surroundings. They end up in a farmer's field, which has been turned into an acidic swamp by flooding caused by a burst water pipe. While Selma finds herself stuck in the middle of the caustic sludge, Michael learns that she has fled. Michael drives across the field toward her voice as she begs for her father, but the car gets stuck in the muck and cannot be rescued. He struggles to get out of the car and, disregarding the acid eroding his legs, trudges on foot toward his daughter. After a long struggle, he finally makes it to the car and falls onto the hood, exhausted. The only thing Selma can do is drag him onto the car's roof. By morning, Michael's legs are covered in severe blisters, and the fabric of his pants has been entirely eaten away. At dawn, a passing armored personnel carrier spots them. Soldiers rescue the pair and take them to a refugee camp. There, Selma learns that there is no news from her uncle, and the worst blow comes when she is informed that Karen, the woman her father had been so desperate to reach, has died. Selma goes to the infirmary, where Michael is lying, now having lost both his legs. Unable to tell her father the heartbreaking truth, she promises to find out more about Karen later. She rests her head on his chest so that he won't see her tears. Rivers of blood, torn bodies, and post-apocalyptic imagery are all avoided in the movie. However, the fact that the catastrophe was so near, and humanity was utterly unprepared for the consequences of its own actions,